Alright, we're back to go ahead and remove the display assembly off this 830 Nokia phone. One of the first things we want to do is actually put some of this tape across the speaker grill. That way we don't melt it or burn it when we're trying to remove it. It happened on the 930 when I was doing that one, so just to make sure we take the precautions, I would suggest doing that. A couple of tools we're going to use for this is a suction cup, possibly an iSesamo tool, preferably using just playing cards or a guitar pick to get this started and work our way around. If possible, we may need a nylon spudger to help us clean up the phone once we get the display removed. We'll also be needing a heat gun to go ahead and loosen up the double-sided adhesive that holds the screen down. So we're going to go ahead and take our heat gun and just go around the corners, the outside of the device. We're not trying to take the glass off of the screen, we're just trying to remove the glass and the display assembly off of the mid frame of this phone. So we're just going to go around and heat up the edge until it gets nice and warm. Now I would suggest not heating your display over maybe 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Sometimes if you heat it over that, it can do damage to the button cables or possibly do some screen burn damage. So just take our time, get it nice and warm all the way around the display here. Now you feel like it's pretty warm, you can take your suction cup and go ahead and stick it on. We'll go ahead and start at the top corner here, see if that gives us any leverage to pull off. You can see right here on the corner, we've got it started. It's starting to pull away from the frame. Just going to pull it back and put our playing card in. And then slide it down the side here. Once we get it started, we can go ahead and remove the suction cup. We won't need that anymore. Now we're trying to be careful. We're not trying to hit the screen. We're just working our way around the bezel portion of the phone where it's black, still around the display assembly itself, not actually cutting into the display. So it's using our playing cards as a knife, and it's working our way around. Now the reason why playing cards are so good for this is they're nice and thin, but they're still fairly strong when it comes to trying to remove these displays. So our display is not as warm as we need it to be down here at the bottom. You can see my playing card got stuck a little bit and a little bit tore off underneath the phone. So we're just going to go ahead and heat up the display again. Nice and warm. You see that it moves much easier now. Turn the corner here and go down the bottom side of this phone. Going to grab another playing card here and then put a little bit more heat on it. Let's heat up this last edge that we haven't undone yet. Now this is a little bit easier on this phone because it is a one-piece assembly. It doesn't have any cracks or fractures. If you do have a cracked display, where the phone is actually cracked, it'll be a little bit harder to start the process again. And if you are trying to use a suction cup to pull it off, you may need to use some tape to get a good suction onto the front of the device. It's working our way down the side here. So if it does have a crack in it, you may have to use a little bit more leverage to get the display to come off. So you can see that we're trying to get our playing card underneath the display assembly here. And then we can work our way down around the sides. And the reason why we want to get it underneath the display assembly, if it does have an LCD screen, we don't want to mess up the backlight on it. We can see our playing card coming through here now. Just trying to be careful not to damage the ribbon cable of the display as well, which is just right here on the side. Just be careful of that as you go work your way around the phone. Alright, so we've gotten to a point where it's starting to cool down a little bit. This can be an area where a lot of people damage their phones when taking it apart. So you just want to take it nice and slow. Make sure your ribbon cable is pulled out before you start trying to heave on it too much. Then we're going to go ahead and heat up the bottom of this phone again here. And then we can just go ahead and open it once the adhesive's nice and warm. There's a ribbon cable that's behind this LCD, so just be careful of it as well. If you feel a lot of resistance when you're trying to take the playing card down behind the back of the LCD, just be careful with that. Make sure you don't damage it. I'll show it to you once I get this display off here. So yeah, now we have it nice and warm. What we can do is just go ahead and take it, tip it forward, and let's go ahead and come right off. So here's the ribbon cable I was talking about, right between the screen and the mid frame that connects the top logic board down to that little daughter board at the bottom. Here's the back of our display. That's removing it. And the next step is you want to go ahead and clean up all the adhesive that's stuck to the back of the frame here. If you're putting a new screen on, you want to make sure that it's all removed. Any of this double-sided tape has to be taken off. Make sure that there's no high spots or anything like that in the device. And that's the screen separation of the Nokia 830. If you have any questions, go ahead and throw them down in the comments. I'll do my best to answer those for you. If you found the video helpful, go ahead and hit the like button. I'll throw the remaining video of this down in the description, so you can watch that if you want to see the reassembly of the device. I shall do a taping and then a reassembly. If you want to see any future videos, hit the subscribe button, and I'll upload a couple a month. As always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.